Everybody, welcome back to ESO Daily. I'm your host, Mysticraven. Alright guys, so I'm still trying to get in a dungeon with this dude, but I'm trying to do my surveys, trying to do whatever. But it kind of gives me a perfect opportunity. Keep in mind I'm sick as hell today. But it gives me a perfect opportunity to just to talk shit, right? So I think it's kind of appropriate. A lot of people... okay. I'm grateful for all my subs and how things have progressed with my channel. I'm really happy about it. But I want you guys to keep in mind, I never wanted, if you hear the baby, it's my granddaughter, my daughter and my granddaughter are here. I never wanted to be a YouTuber. I just never wanted to be, man. In 21 years of MMOing, I never wanted to fucking do this shit, man. You guys got to understand, like, a lot of people are like, oh, you're so hostile, you're so whatever, so elite attitude. Well, yeah, I was a former elitist, so yeah, I kind of have that fucking prick attitude. I'm trying to walk away from it, right? I can't see your comment. I didn't want to initially become a YouTuber, but I walked into this game with all sorts of fucked up shit, man. All sorts of shit. And in 21 years, it just amazed me how much the community was being fed shit, honestly. Like I would read the forums, right? I was scratching my head coming into this game. I'm like, is there something I'm missing? Is there something I'm completely missing, right? And, you know, I went to the forums. Now, I didn't have access because I lost my code, but I could still read forums. And a lot of old school MMOers were on there, and they were talking about the same shit that I was accustomed to seeing in MMOs. And a lot of rule of thumbs. And that was the diminishing returns. That was, you know, taking into consideration these different, you know, variables to be applied when CP was introduced. So a lot of these things that I was accustomed to was present, but a lot of YouTubers weren't touching on it, right? They weren't really discussing the topic. And for me, I kind of, you know, I think, you know, it really, like I said, I started off in Nightblade Healer. People question it. People question this. People question that. And it just set me on a certain path. And I don't mean to be disrespectful. Okay, first and foremost, I will say that. I don't mean to be disrespectful. But if you guys ever notice, like, when a lot of people post, they're not questioning. It's not, you know, like, you know, some sort of intelligent conversation or debate. It's literally them justifying the shit they've been told. And, you know, it's one thing to go ahead and have a healthy debate, but it's one thing to come in and have a hostile, you know, response to a content creator and not expect, and they're used to, like, the content creator not responding or just folding over, right? That's what they're accustomed to. They're like, oh, you know, he blah 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 and this and that. Well, I'm not that person, man. I am so not that person. So I'm like, you know, if you were going to talk stupid shit, you're going to get a stupid and hostile. I'm going to go ahead and reply just as hostile, just as sarcastic, and just as, you know, whatever. You know, I live by the golden rule, you know, do unto others as you want done unto you. So if you come in, you treat me with respect, you'll get respect. If you go ahead and you're talking stupid shit and I treat you stupid, well, there you go, you know. I'm not going to go ahead and, you know, hold everybody's hands and be like, oh, yeah, you know, I'm not here for a popularity contest, guys. It's not the way it is. I'm here to try to help players. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to say my builds are the best. I'm not trying to say any of that shit. What I'm trying to do is say, hey, man, there are, excuse me, these different factors you have to take into consideration. You cannot go ahead and whatever. And, you know, I enjoy the game. I love what the devs did with Elder Scrolls. Like I said, I was hesitant. But at the same time, you know, I think what they offered the game was amazing. Simply amazing, to be honest with you. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, you know, this title, you're so arrogant, you're so this. I'm told that all the time, guys. You know, I am told that all the time. I am not perfect. I am a human being. I have flaws, beyond flaws, but I try to take care of mine. And, you know, and I pay respect to a lot of players in game. You know, and there are a lot of players who like me, and I like a lot of players. I love my subs. Majority of you guys that sub to me, majority, are very helpful to me as well. So don't think it goes without question, right? I don't pretend to be a Mr. Know-It-All, right? I take what I do know and I try to offer you guys assistance with it. You know, I have to test things too. I have to check things out. I have to go and, you know, I just can't settle to say, oh, this is the best scenario for, you know, for everything. And that's not the case. Sometimes I get a better result with one thing than I did with the other. And that lies true in this game. And one specific player, like, initially I thought he was a troll. So the way his comment read, I just felt like it was like a trollish comment. But here to find out, you know, he was just trying to have a pretty, you know, open conversation. I responded inappropriately. I apologized to him, actually, because I felt like it was my fault, you know. And I'm a big person, you know. I like to come out and admit, oh, dude, I'm sorry, man, you know. But when and you have to do that, you know. I don't want people to believe I'm something I'm not, but at the same time, when you guys watch my channel, keep in mind what I do versus what the other tubers don't do. Like, I come up with shit to show viability, right? So I play Nightblade Healer. Most people don't think it's completely even doable. When I first started this game, anything but a Templar was ridiculed. Like, it was so toxic. It was so bad. And my goal was to force the community into accepting the facts. And yeah, it was harsh. Like, I forced players into it. I forced them. I'm like, if you want a healer, here it is. Here's my DK. Deal with it or kick me. And players would be like, well, fuck it, let's try it. I'm like, okay, that's all I'm asking. Just for you to try and give me the opportunity to show you what it can do. That's all I'm asking. You know? And little by little, and I wasn't the first. That was the big thing for me too, because there were other players that were already, like, had posted a lot of this stuff. Now, I didn't know it at that time when I was doing it, but console players were really even more toxic. Like, when I switched over and I started working on PC players are just so more open. It's just a completely different world. But now console players have gotten better, right? And everything I've started contributing, I feel like it's been a bumpy road for me, right? I've been in the trenches, guys. I have been in the trenches. I'm not, you know, most people hate me, and I tell people that. I'm like, I am probably one of the most despised YouTubers for this game out of every other channel, because I won't settle. I won't conform. You know, I want players to see what this game is and whether they like it or not. And I will force it. I will force my point upon it. And people don't like it. They do not like that. But at the same time, what am I supposed to do? Just let people bully anybody who's willing to try something different? Right? Is that acceptable? It's not acceptable. Right? Me being condescending to anybody posting might not be right, but take in consideration, you know, the original post, right? Or why I ruffle feathers, right? Why do I do it? Why do I do it? You know, I want you to think. I want you to accept what most people can't. You know, the more you can get around this bullshit, the better person you become. Not just a better player, a better person. Because you learn to accept not everything has to be one way. That's not life. That's not reality. You know, I tell my kids every day, just because you see something one way doesn't mean that everybody else has to accept that as the defining truth. I'm colorblind, for example. Okay, yeah, don't make fun of me. I'm colorblind, red and green. Yeah, it sucks. But my daughters can see shades of red and green. I cannot. So what they see as a color is truth for them, right? That's truth. That's perception. That's what they see. I don't see it that way. I can't see it that way. Why? Because I'm colorblind, red and green. I don't see the shades they see. So it's not the truth for me. Do you guys get what I'm saying? It's a perception. Does it make me wrong because I can't see it? No, it just makes me ignorant to the fact that I can't see it. And some players are the same way. They refuse to see what others can. So that, in turn makes them, unable to grasp what you're trying to convey to them. And excuse me. And I'm always trying to tell people, man, the thing about it is, I had to lose. Like, I'm a dick. I'm an asshole. But I had to lose that pride at a very young age. I grew up with a big chip on my shoulder and was just like, fuck the world. Come for me, man. I'll beat the shit out of you type of thing. Whatever. And, but I had to shake that shit. Excuse me, once again, I'm so sick today. Bad cold. And I realized it was, it wasn't right. Because there were, I wasn't one. I had the perspective of what was going on. I just hated the people who have always been ignorant and, and forcing their way upon other people. Not really cool with that, man. Was never really cool with that. I was not down for that type of shit. But it got me in a lot of trouble, nevertheless, because I was confrontational. And to a degree, I still am. But in a way, I want to do it in a constructive way. But still, if I poke at you guys, and I'm trying to make my points, and I'm trying to whatever, it's not because I'm saying this is the absolute. I'm never going to tell you guys that, right? Never going to say it. You're never going to hear me say this is this is absolute. Because there are different variables to take into consideration and other play styles that we have to respect. And at the end of the day, I always tell people, there's a difference now for me. It's not about who's the best player. It's about, can we get the content done? They used to hate pugging up until this game. I pugged a couple of games. DC was kind of easy. I think it got me more adjusted to accepting pug environment, but prior to that, there was no way I was going to pug. I hated the pug. I gritted my teeth every time. I would rather pick up guildies every day of the week than ever step foot in a pug, especially in World of Warcraft and EverQuest. But then later down the road and coming into this game, I was like, you have to lead by an example, right? You have to go ahead and inspire players to reach their potential. And the only way you can do that is throwing yourself out there, putting yourself out there. And it sometimes it still is going to get you frustrating. I get frustrated all the time. But it's more rewarding to see what players, how they take that. How they, go ahead and, capitalize from that. Because then there are some players who will just go ahead and talk shit and whatever have you. But then there's players who are like, how did you do that? They'll ask questions. They'll be curious. And those are the type of people that you want to kind of open up to and whatever. But I don't feed them one way. I don't want to give a dogmatic sense to this game. So I say, you can do this. You can do that. This is how you can improve it. You kind of have to give them their options and let them build from there, because their play styles is going to relatively be slightly different. Variety, I always say, and I said in one video, variety is the spice of life, right? It is the spice of life. If you have everything the same, it becomes boring. It becomes stagnant, right? It literally loses its appeal. So what's the point for me? You know, if I have to, what's the point in doing any content in this game if there is an absolute one way to only do it? What's the point? What's the point? What, to play, you know, the lore? Is that even worthy for the elitist in this game? You know, is it a worthy thing? I don't know, man. I don't see it that way. You know, I see, like, you know, try things. You have all these different possibilities, and I've had so much fun fucking doing it. Like, so much fun. You know, for once in my life in a game, I've actually had a blast coming up with shit that most people would just throw out the window. You know, DK healer. Who in the fuck runs a DK healer? I do. You know, Wardens, they're not as good as Templars. Says who? You know? Says who? Well, you got to use this set. Once again, why? Does it have to be that way? Do you say it has an absolute? I don't believe that, man. I don't believe that. And a lot of people don't. And I think you guys, for the ones who hit that subscribe button, because you guys are trying new things. You guys are putting yourselves out there. There are some things that are going to yield better results. I'm not debating that. I'm not debating that at all. But you guys are putting yourselves out there and willing to accept maybe there's, you know, alternate ways of trying something or getting a better result than you had anticipated. So for me, it's great, man. I've, like I said, I've wholeheartedly enjoyed what I've provided for this community. It comes with, it's bittersweet because at the same time, I've been ridiculed. My back against the wall. You guys can watch it from day one, man. Day one. You know, every vid I did, every update, every diminishing returns, it got smacked around. Now they accept it. You know, penetrating values, smacked around, accepted. Healer, alternative healer or tank builds, smacked around. Now becoming acceptable. It's kind of crazy, man. You know, but I was there, and I was always met with hostility and resentment and ridicule. You know, so if I seem a little bit of an asshole at times, it's because people are portraying that to me. That's how people are treating me. You become, you know, a part of your environment. You know, if we're taking a look at nature versus nurture, I would say we have to take into consideration both aspects from a psychological standpoint. You know, it's not one derivative. There's no one absolute. I am also a product of my environment, and how I'm received is how I will respond in kind. Right? Just the way it is. It's human nature, right? You know, it's instinctive. And I swear to God, I'm not going to get a cue today anytime soon. And to me, like I said, I've enjoyed myself tremendously throughout this game. I just want to kill this and get this. I've enjoyed myself, and I've met so many good players along the way. You guys have been so good to me, and I appreciate you guys. So don't think I don't. Don't think that, you know, I'm trying to be this, excuse me, this overall self-righteous bastard, because that's not who I am. You know, take me for face value. You know, I don't sugarcoat anything. I have a type A personality. It's just the way it is. Someone's like, oh, you know, you act like this and you act like that. And I'm like, I have a type A personality. What do you want me to do, man? You want me to change who I am? You know, I'm sorry. It's just the way I'm built. You know, I'm not going to go ahead and, you know, it's not that I'm trying to be disrespectful. It's just the fact of it is, it's who I am. And at the same time, there's people that I might not, you know, up front like, but I respect them, you know. Like, Deltio was the biggest thing. I have so much respect for that man. You know, we had indifferences, but what he's done for this country, who he is as an individual, he has 110% of my respect. He does. He does. You know, and that's another thing you have to take in consideration. You might not like somebody, but can you still respect that person? I can. You know, it's not personal for me. Never has been. And, you know, I don't know why I'm not getting a Q. And like I said, I'm just talking shit, getting my surveys. But, yeah, take it for what it's worth, man. You know, I'm talking shit. Am I talking shit? Well, it depends on how you view it, man. It really does. You know? I used to be this little cock-ass attitude, like, I'm number one on the server. I'm a GM. Oh, wait, 3 months later, I'm GM again on a different tune. Suck my dick. You guys suck. You guys suck. You know, I used to be that little bastard. 2 kudos. That's nice. I used to be that one of those little dicks. And it's like, when I look back on it, I'm like, you know, what did it prove? I didn't prove a fucking thing, man. I didn't prove fucking shit. I just proved how fucking elite players can, how much attitudes can get in the way of players enjoying a friggin' form of entertainment. Is all I did. That's all I ever did when I played these games. I wanted to be the best, and for what? For what? You know? You take away the fun. You get that attitude and there's no fun in it. You're not helping anybody but your goddamn self. You know, that's the truth. And it sucks. It sucks. You're selfish. I was selfish. Alright? At the end of the day, you have to think to yourself, is there something more than that? Well, there can be. There can be. You know? If you've completed content, pick up somebody who hasn't. Walk them through it. Help them out. Somebody needs gear. Help them out. It's what an MMO is. It's a community effort. You guys can make this game greater than what you can perceive it to be. It's all about interaction. You know? Don't be a stickler. Don't be elite. It doesn't do anything for a community but, you know, dry it out. You know? You can make it so much better. So do it. You know? Do it. Make the community a better place. If you do that, then this game will flourish. But sooner or later, the game starts having problems. Because people get tired of the elite attitudes. They get sick of it. Can't say I blame them. Can't say I do. Excuse me once again. And I think that's another thing I really like. 1 second. God dang, man. Cold sucks. I think that's another thing I like about my builds. I try to make it as accessible as possible. And yeah, it does. Now, there's certain builds that aren't that easily accessible. And I get it. But most of the time, I want to make the builds as accessible and as powerful for the average player. Keeping in mind that they can go from there. Unless somebody's like, would you call this, you know, an end game, this build sucks. And I'm like, well, ideally, how many people are casual gamers that are trying to get started in trials or trying to get their first set of this or that or this or that? And if they want to believe the conception that this has to be a certain way to get this, who's to say that this build isn't the build that helps them achieve that goal? I don't know. It's up to them to decide, not me. You know? If it helps them out and they trash it later on, okay. If they didn't like it, okay. You know? It's no sweat off my back. There's no tears going into it. Nothing. I play my way. I get results. And at the end of the day, that's all I care about. You know? Getting the results that I want to play the game that how I want to play it. You know? At the end of the... It's just the way it is. So... You know, help your fellow players. I don't know why I'm getting a cue. I'm not going to keep rambling on here. But help your fellow players. Make an effort. Put forth the effort, man. You'll be surprised. You know? Don't be something that this game isn't. Right, guys? You guys never step foot in a 6-hour fucking raid. It's never happened in this game. Alright? It's never happened. I'm used to hitting my finisher. It's never happened. If you know what? If you played World of Warcraft or EverQuest and you came from there after this video, leave a comment. Leave a comment. Say, I was there. I was there. That's all you have to say. I was there. And you will know. And you'll know. And you will know. This game doesn't even ever have to be like that. Ever. When you spend 6 hours in a friggin', raid with 39 other people, come and tell me you're elite then. Alright? You got 12 man, you're in there less than an hour at times. Maybe an hour. Whatever. But most of the time you can get in and out, 30, 40 minutes, depending on the content. Really? Come on, man. Come on. It's just, you guys do not have to pretend to be something or think that you're something. But you can be a skilled gamer, right? You can be very skilled. But give it back. Give it back, man. I think that's one thing I've learned along the way. When I signed up to be a YouTuber, I was kicking myself in the head. And I was like, I can't believe I'm being forced to fucking go through this hell. I can't believe it. And my old lady was like, why do you even care? Why do you even care so much? And I'm like, it's the principle, man. It's the principle. 21 years of MMO fundamentals just being completely fucking ignored. Like, who does that? Who does that? You're ignoring complete fundamentals. And that's the truth. Do you guys think I'm making it up? That they ignored it? Do you think I am? There were posters on the forums who told you from day one, but none of those YouTubers except one, my boy X. He's the only one. He was one of the first people I subbed to. Why? Because he was one of the only ones beside me covering the topic. Covering it. He covered it. The respect went out immediately. The way he did it. The way he put it out there. And he's such a nicer guy than I am, to be honest with you. If you guys don't know who he is, please go sub to this man. XYNODE. That dude is the shit. Every day of the week. I told everybody in my guild, go sub to this dude. Go. Because he would do it the way I did it. But he's nicer about it than I am. But he was the only one. Only one. It's just the truth. It's just the truth, guys. So, but I'm going to leave on this note. I might talk a lot of shit. And I might ruffle a lot of feathers along the way. But just know I'm not here to imitate or be those other tubers. I want to be me. I want to try to help you. Right? That's it. I want to give you options. I want to give you possibilities in this game. And some people will accept that. Many will not. And I know that. Does it hurt my feelings? No. Does it make me lose any sleep with trolls under my bed? No. It doesn't bother me whatsoever. And you should go ahead and try to embrace every possibility this game's going to have to offer and give back to the community what you can. It will make it a better game for players to play. All right? That's my advice. I do want to... Sorry, once again. I do want to thank you guys for watching today and listening to my dumbass ramble while I was trying to wait for a queue. But, yeah. Comments. I'm wanting the WoW players and the EverQuest players to post. I was there. Do it. Please. Please. Tell them. Testament. Tell them what it was like. Tell these pretend elite players what it was really like. Tell them. I think they'd have a little bit more appreciation for the game they play today than the game we used to play. All right. So once again, thank you for watching, and as always, have a nice day.